So it had its limits. Anyways, but he doesn't reject it, he brings it to fulfillment. How? He reveals the God, the Father of mercies. That God, the Father of the people of Israel, was the daddy of Juan. And that's what he's revealing. So the Ten Commandments, the eight Beatitudes, happy those who. And so it is a call to happiness. It's not a call to resignation, to fulfillment. In commandments, they are formulated where I control. Do this, don't do this. 3 do's and 7 don't do. The do's and don'ts approach. You see, it puts the means, what I do, as if it was the goal. No. Blessed those who. Blessedness is our goal. And the means is who more. Who? Those who offer, and what he describes is what we all undergo in life. Some mourning, some poverty of spirit, some burdens in life. No? And here, it's control. The Lord invites us to trust. Trust in him, trust in us, as he trusts us, trust in others. You can't live a Christian life without trusting. So it's rebuilding trust, not control. And this is very hard to let go. Like the rich young man who was a perfect Jew, but he didn't really control. And it's the call of the second conversion to give your roadmap, the keys, the credit card, and the steering wheel to the Lord, and trust in him. In this, then, because we had the law, we had commandments, we had the control, then we were exacting expectations upon ourselves first, upon others later, husband, children, teachers, boss, spiritual director, family members, acquaintances, etc. And, oh, the devil likes it. Because it's like being close to an outlet and he has an electrical thing. And through expectations, when it's not met, boom! That's it. It disrupts all peace. And that's it. Expectations, exacting. And so we believe in a perfect world that doesn't exist, not even in the mind of God. It doesn't exist. Okay? So what did the Lord change from expectations to hope that brings fulfillment? Every human failure, I'll bring up hope. But hope that appears in the gospel. Not hope that is happy-go-lucky. Hope that is commitment to change, hope that is improvement, hope that is discernment, hope. But there's hope. In Spanish it's better because it all starts in it. To move from expectativas to esperanza. Real hope. So to move it from the law to the heart. Let the heart command. And for the heart to command, you need to lose control. And you need to give him the remote control of your life. Okay? And that will bring you fulfillment. In the first column, God was the script writer. No? So the Lord revealed what you needed to do. But in the second one, God is the protagonist, not the script writer. He's the protagonist. He really has the steering wheel and he takes you places. And that's why prayer is the place where you allow God to be God. Because if your prayer is too busy doing prayers, God can't be God. So the time of prayer is for you to say, Lord, I'm your temple. Do whatever you want in me. Let God be God. but now I need to do this prayer, now this, and I have all these intentions. And throw it all in the basket, give it to the Lord like Moses, and let God do it. Okay? Moving from self-abnegation, not to walk 40 steps, not to see what you're not supposed to see, not to take, not to overcharge, to abandonment, to self-surrender. It's not self-denial. No amount of denial will make you good. It will prevent you being bad, but it won't make you good. No? So self-denial will exist always, but what will build you up is abandonment. I surrender all my whole self to you. And then, from the real conditions of your life, you will just keep doing better. The street guide goes to the GPS. Of course, this doesn't come from St. Thomas Aquinas because the GPS had not been invented back then, but as you live today, probably you'd use it. Discipline and duty, this is very much discipline in that expectation. So if you're disciplined and you fulfill your duty, and you Americans are very duty-driven, and that's very good for a good life, but very bad for a spiritual growth. That's it. So you have an orderly arena, and you can excel, and corporate America uses this quite a bit. No? But then you live religion as a duty, and you lose and miss the fatherhood. And it is so difficult. And especially our generation, because the education of our parents was like this, duty-driven. And now you don't understand your child's generation, and they are not duty-driven. They see we are duty-driven, and they are not duty-driven. They are empathy-driven, heart-driven, hope-driven, trust-driven. Yeah, they ask for more trust than they should get, but actually they rely on trust, and they run on trust. And empathy. Anyway, so, no, the Lord works with your desires. That's why we need to be careful with the litanies of humility. Because we're smashing down every desire. They are natural desires. So whatever is wrong of those desires, of course, needs to be purified. But from the desire of being loved, free me, Lord? No. From the desire of being loved, fulfill me, Lord. Sorry? Isn't that natural? Isn't that? So you need to edit a little bit. I don't know if they reappear in the new manual.
I'm so glad you said that. I don't like that one.
No. Because it is this column, and it can take some people to do good, but it can also hold up a lot of people to do better. That's why prayers is not an innocent business. I mean, there are consequences. The way we pray is the way we grow, we blossom, we consecrate ourselves. Okay. So these measured acts our life can become moralistic. Of course, our behavior is better, and we're well-behaved people, and blessed be God, no? But if we read everything as behavior and under morals, we drain the gospel from its rich content. Now, we need morals and morality, no? But they are not the end. They are a means. The end is attitudes, identities, I am the beloved daughter. I am a disciple of Christ. I am a creature that wants to praise the Creator. All those attitudes, it's not measuring every act. Did I pray all my prayers and all my commitments today? It is, did I live as a daughter of the Lord? And yes, I'll find that the daughter of the Lord, some also has temper tantrums from time to time. That's okay. No? And you'll ask forgiveness to the Lord and everyone else you really didn't inspire with your temper tantrums, but it's the attitudes, it's an identity filled thing. It's not what I do, but who am I? It's my identity that remains. And it's living in the spirit, the beatitudes, trusting in hope, allowing God to be the protagonist, in abandonment, with a good GPS, properly charged. That's why you need to pray. Okay? Following and recognizing your desires of love and rest. It was beautiful today. Someone shared a good insight. She said, you know, Father, what the seventh jar is? And some of you might know it because it was preached here. The seventh jar is Christ in the cross, saving us. It is. So that chalice, he took it upon himself and he drank it. And he gave us rest. It's the seventh day of rest. It's recreation and it has a seventh jar, the seventh day. And he drank to the dregs all the contaminated water in the form of wine, in the form of his blood. And that's what the Lord does in our lives. From time to time, we have to drink a chalice. Yeah. Anyways, the Lord came to make a revolution from the good Martha to the better Mary. And that's what prayer life is all about. It produced scandal, but it started the Catholic Church. Now, we've been living the Catholic Church like Jews for many years. So we better catch up. And that is Christ-centeredness. And if you get Matthew 5 to Matthew 7, you'll see that he's very intentional. He's knocking down all those idols of control, commandments, expectations, etc. Now, let me clarify these expectations because it's a hang-up term. I've used it very much and it looks like the ugly boy of the family. And it is. Expectations are on one end unavoidable. On the natural plane, we need to work with expectations. So there's expectations of a wife for a husband and a husband for a wife. A parent from a child and a child from a teacher. There are expectations. That's why they are grades. That's why they are employment contracts. That's why there are goals for corporate America and best practices, etc. And that is working through and by expectations for natural realities. Because the natural and material world is developed under controlling the effects, the impacts, no? Manipulating creation. And so we need expectations to run our lives in an orderly way. The same way we need the law. We need the law. We all need to pay taxes. And those who have more should pay more, and those who have less should pay less or receive more. So, but that should not be transported to the spiritual realm. And expectations have a limit. So the spiritual realm grows through trust, not through control, through abandonment. If God had set expectations, we would all befriend Judas. We cannot pay for our, no, it's not his expectation that we pay our debts. No, it's his expectations that we use well his talents. And that is a matter of trust. He gives me talents and he lets me negotiate. He doesn't tell me, now don't invest here and don't invest there. And no. He lets me, he trusts me. But he sends messengers, angels, GPSs that tell me, make a U-turn, follow here, etc. So he's building trust. And it is an unbreakable trust. So when we fail him, it's not, oh, the expectation was not met, I'm going to have a shorter leash. No. He leaves you free again. He trusts again. He confirms you in confession, embraces you, and he has restored trust and confidence in you. The way he does it is the way he wants us to do it with our brother. Husband, children, in-laws included. And that we don't cut short the weeds and the weeds. I had once a lady after retreat saying, oh, so what you told us is I cannot harvest my husband before time. That's what it is. You cannot harvest your husband. But he still has a chance. He still has a chance. In the Lord's heart, you cannot harvest your husband. You were one of those angels saying, there's weeds here, let's go. No, you cannot harvest your husband. And you cannot harvest yourself. And you cannot harvest your children. It's not harvesting time. So, sow seed, put some manure, etc. No? Clip whatever needs to be clipped. Be sun so that things blossom, but it's not harvesting time. Okay. Martha wanted to harvest. It was not harvesting time. So, questions, reactions. Well, there are no questions. There's much rumbling inside. Okay, and then I think we'll leave it here. Two of you are going to associate to Renewal Christi. If we can meet for a minute, in the two of you in the library. I'd appreciate having a short conversation. The rest we have free time until 3:30. When is it? 3:15. 3:30. It's much similar.